Let's begin by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has confirmed Nigeria will hail thee as the country's latest national anthem when he joined a joint sitting of the National Assembly to mark the Silver Jubilee of Nigeria's Fourth Republic. The occasion coincided with the first anniversary of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Senate President Godswill Akpabio said the sitting was primarily to launch the new national anthem, explaining that the president would not be making a speech because he has to leave to launch the Abuja metro line.
This institution, the hallowed chamber, represents our consciousness for freedom and sense of belonging. You rang out the latest national anthem. Nigeria will hail thee. See, this is our diversity. Representing all characters. And how we blend together to be brothers and sisters. Without this house, probably I may not find a path to the presidency. I started all from here.
The new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has called on the federal government to urgently review its economic policies to align with the prevailing sufferings of the people and boost productivity in the country. In its one-year assessment of the Tinubu administration, the party noted with dismay that the renewed hope agenda of the government was not yielding the desired benefits. Rather, it has inflicted untold hardship on the people. According to a statement by NNPP National Publicity Secretary on Wednesday, Ladipo Johnson, he noted that economic indicators and performance index of the economy were not giving Nigerians any hope because they are not feeling the impact of government on their daily well-being. With me in the studio to discuss this is political analyst Chuka Chukwudile. Chuka, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
What has been the impact of Tinubu's leadership style on the political landscape of Nigeria in the last year, and how has it affected political stability?
Thank you and good evening. For one, I think the president actually, he promised to remodel the economy, and so far so good. I think he has done a very woeful job, if I'm being honest with myself or honest with Nigeria, the way Nigerians think. He came in with a lot of promises, you know. He came in with the renewed hope agenda, and Nigerians felt, okay, let's give this guy, I mean, for people who vote for Nigeria, majority of Nigerians felt, let's give him, let's see what he can do. Maybe he's come a long way. It's been a journey he's been on for quite a while. He might have something, you know, something to offer. But from the look of things, I think we've gone from worse to worse.
It's just been a year. Some would say he's just getting his bearing. Would it be fair to give a blanket assessment at this point that, you know, he's not going to do much? Or are there any indication in his style so far that prompts you to feel that he might not do much for the country?
Yeah. He promised to develop, to improve the economy at double-digit rates. You know, he promised to take the economy to like $6 trillion in how many years? How many dollars? But from the way things are, things are really not. His policies have not just worked out for him. I feel he needs to really sit down, pause, and do a rethink, and go back to the drawing board with his team and like, hey, I don't think what we had in mind is working right now. 1 year is enough for someone who is really well prepared to know what he wants to do. 1 year is enough to show workings. I feel 1 year, I mean, with 1 year and things are like this, is there any hope that in the next 2-3 years things will get better? I mean, if things are going to get better, it's from now we'll start seeing the signs.
Okay, not to trivialize what we're talking about, but I would like you to speak quickly on the nature of political appointments made by him this year and how they have reflected whatever policies and political ideology that he has put forward, during the campaign, bearing in mind that in Buhari's time, it took a while for us to get ministers, but this time around, it was done quite speedily.
Yeah, it was done quite speedily. But the question now is, are we having, square pegs and square holes, or are we having square pegs and round holes? Are we having the people who can actually do the job? Minister of Power, Minister of Power, Adelabu, I don't see, he doesn't have any background in engineering or power or anything, but he's Minister of Power. A lot of ministers as well, they come from departments that are outside the field they currently are in. So I really don't know. Yeah, he did well by appointing ministers. I think he had his ministers ready. But from my opinion, I think most of the appointments were based off political affiliations and political, affiliations and bearings. Yeah, they were not really, how will I put it? So they were not really appointments that were based on meritocracy and intelligence. I don't know.
Okay, what has been the role? If you're not so impressed with what's been done in the past 1 year, what would be your assessment of the role of opposition parties, particularly the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party, in holding the Tinubu's administration accountable and maybe providing alternative policy options in the last year?
It's been pathetic so far, especially for the PDP that's actually meant to be the main opposition party. It has been very pathetic. The PDP right now, from the look of things, the PDP is more like an arm of the APC because, if you're going to go back a couple of years to when Jonathan was president, the APC, they didn't give him any breathing space. For any error he had, they were out there on the streets. They were out there, they were bombarding him en masse. But look at where we are. And what the opposition party is doing, nothing. Press releases, that's all. Press releases every day, press releases. Nobody's going to take them serious. They don't look like a serious political party to me. So I think for the PDP, for the Labour Party, I don't really rate them. I don't really rate them that much. I see them as
Okay, just to wrap up this conversation, how has the Tinubu's administration addressed issues of political corruption, including persecution of political opponents, the use of public funds for political purposes, and importantly, the role of money in politics in the last 1 year?
I don't know. Nothing has changed. I think things have even gone worse. We've not so far. I don't think there's been any high-profile prosecution yet. And when it comes to money politics, I think it's gone worse now because now money actually talks now in Nigerian politics. If you don't have money, I don't think you can even stand a chance of winning a seat right now. And with this current administration in power, I think it's all about who has the most money, who can bring out the most money and dole out the most cash. That's who is most likely to win a seat and get to power. So.
All right, Chuka, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
All right. As Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu nears the end of his 5th year leading Lagos, reactions from residents have been mixed regarding his performance and vision for further progress. While some acknowledge improvements in infrastructure development under his leadership, many express a desire to see more rapid advances in key social programs and economic indicators going forward. News Centre's Niyi Omoniyi conducted interviews with a cross-section of Lagos residents to gauge their sentiments. His report. Okay, I understand that reports will come a little later on in the bulletin. We'll take a short break. Come back with more stories. To stay with us. Yeah? Oh. Glad you're still with us. We did tease to a report by my colleague, Ni Omoni, taking a look at reactions on Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's 5th year leading Lagos. Let's see it now.
I, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, do solemnly swear.
It has been 1 year since Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the All Progressives Congress was sworn in for a second term as the 15th governor of Lagos State. This anniversary has elicited mixed reactions from Lagosians regarding the governor's performance. Some residents have commended Sanwo-Olu for progress on infrastructure projects such as road constructions and rehabilitation across the state. They note that several projects have been completed or are nearing completion. The governor has also received praise for his respect for the rule of law.
I can give him, let's say, 85% of the tenure he has done is well, including his subordinate, the deputy governor, the speaker of the house. They've done their best. We are a retail Nigerian problem. You cannot solve Nigerian problem once.
Because we have a governor who will say, go and do the right thing. I want the best for my judiciary. And for that reason, we appreciate him a lot.
However, other Lagosians are dissatisfied with the governor's performance, citing a lack of progress on issues like policies as factors that further exacerbate the difficulties already faced by residents in regards to the rising cost of living, high unemployment, and challenges of conducting business in Lagos.
The truth is, as a leader, there are many pressures, right? Pressures from the people you are leading and contemporaries and the rest of them. But I think there's still more he needs to do, like when it comes to, let's say, the road, amenities.
I think you should put more effort in the government so that we'll be able to appreciate him. But to me, we doesn't see, he's not trying enough. He's not trying to the expectation what he have said before, because already I've given the Lagos State the promise that he will do something better. You understand?
As Sanwo-Olu marks the beginning of his second year in his second term, Lagosians are looking to this period with a mix of hope and apprehension.
As your incident commander, I'm giving you the commitment that with the committees and the advisory pool that we're putting together, it's a bipartisan engagement. We want everybody that have an idea to come and sit with us, tell us straight that this and this is not working. Do it this way. Let us share in the ideas that can ensure that we take ourselves collectively out of, the challenges that we find ourselves.
Moving forward, the governor has significant work ahead of him to meet the high expectations of Nigeria's most populous state, as residents call for prioritizing job creation, good governance, and transparency in his 6th year of service. In Lagos for News Central, Ni Omoni.
Millions of naira worth of property were damaged by fire on Wednesday, destroying multiple wooden shanties at the Tejuosho Market in the Yaba region of Lagos State. Thankfully, there had been no reported fatality or injuries at the time this report was submitted. The market, which consists of stores and homes along the Tejuosho Canal, is where the fire is said to have started at around 12:30 p.m. Governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, has banned all public demonstrations within the state and has directed security forces to arrest any individual involved in such activity. This announcement was made on Wednesday through a statement by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Tofa. The governor also commanded the police, the Directorate of State Security Services, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to take immediate action against anyone found participating in street protests in the state. Activities across the Asian city paralyzed on Monday by angry residents protesting the deposition of Aminu Ado Bayero as the Emir of Kano and the reinstatement of Muhammadu Sanusi II. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, has summoned the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court and the Chief Judge of Kano State High Court over conflicting interim injunctions regarding the Kano Emirate, causing uncertainty in the state. The Federal High Court in Kano, presided over by Justice S.A. Amobeda, issued an order for the eviction of Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II from the Kofa Kudu Palace, reinforcing the authority of the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Adobayero. On the other hand, the Kano State High Court, under the jurisdiction of Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu, issued an injunction to protect Muhammadu Sanusi and other key figures from potential harassment by state authorities. Hundreds of bank customers in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, are protesting their inability to access their money from a commercial bank for the past 3 months. News Center's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
Hundreds of customers gathered within the premises of a commercial bank in Maiduguri, voicing out their anger. The protesters are holding placards demanding the management of the bank to ensure that customers can access their funds without further delay.
My April salary, I cannot withdraw. Now they pay me salary of May. I no fee withdraw. No network to transfer, to withdraw, no network. Now to get money to go back home, I don't have money to my pocket.
Idan suna so lafiyan jiki su ba mu kudin mu. Idan ba haka ba muna roko mutane Borno State su bi da mu su kai mu wani bank mu je mu yi wani abu a ciki.
ATM baya yi, USSD baya yi, mobile apps baya yi, check mine ka zo da check naka ba za ka samu kashi a cikin banki ba. Highest wani lokacin su ce maka 10,000, highest wani lokacin 20,000.
We need the government to come to our assistance. We need to get our right. We know the condition we are in today. As a salarian, at the end of the month, you cannot get your rights. We have our children, we have our this thing, we have to feed them, we have to pay our school fees, we have to pay our hospital bills, and yet our money is here, we cannot get it.
They urged the bank to find a quick resolution to the matter, warning that the continued concerns of the people could lead to further unrest.
Kintau indiso ya kiso ati branch la suro yerwailan awaka andiro am talaro gnazi nambia palma andiro yende dalla murar nde andiro table payment ne andiya biyaza
yanzu abin da muke so a yi a Heritage Bank idan ko su gyara network sake transfer direct ko kuwa mu samu a ba mu transfer zuwa wani banki su ba mu dama mu yi transfer zuwa wani banki mu cire kudin mu idan ba su ba mu transfer zuwa wani banki ba muna so su ba mu kudaden mu bar bankin su.
One of the bank customers, Bulama Mustafa, who traveled all the way from Manguno local government area, revealed that he cannot go back to his home due to lack of cash. Effort to speak with the bank management proved abortive as at the time of filing in this report, and the commercial bank is yet to issue an official statement regarding the situation, leaving many customers feeling increasingly desperate and uncertain about the fate of their savings. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Quite unfortunate. As intra-African trade continues to gain more prominence with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, stakeholders in the foreign trade sector have called for improved training for small businesses in Nigeria to enable them to compete with their counterparts abroad. This forms part of the conversation at the 2024 Science of Trade Conference held in Lagos, where small business owners were trained on finance accessibility, trade facilitation, among others. News Center's Adishawa Udushoga has details.
The Nigerian government continues to seek improvement in bilateral trade relations within and outside the continent. It has become apparent to increase awareness and knowledge about trade facilitation among business owners. This is the essence of this Science of Trade Conference, a program designed to empower African entrepreneurs to navigate the complexities of local and international trade and unlock opportunities for growth and success.
Many people talk about access to market, but we felt the need to put something together that would help with actionable steps to get into markets. Number one, decongest the whole protocol in terms of the processes for getting into markets, within the country, within Africa and internationally. And then number two, give the necessary tools that would help people leverage the opportunities. So opportunities like getting certification, getting export ready, to trade above and beyond, and even within the country, like I mentioned earlier.
Comprehensive training on export readiness, trade facilitation, digital trade, e-commerce, and the utilization of trade policies were offered to the participants here by stakeholders in the banking sector and experts in the agri-business sector.
When we talk about women empowerment, people make a mistake that is loan or financial. That goes a long way, much more than that. It includes the business development, the capacity building, trainings, those supports that are non-financial. And it actually has, I can say it has more weight.
Government to invest more on security, helping farmers. They don't need to expend their little income in providing their own security. They feel safe going to the farm early in the morning and coming back safely and selling their products without fear of being kidnapped or what have you. And then thirdly is to make sure that they provide other amenities like the airports, the cargo airports for shipping the product.
With the existence of the African Growth Opportunity Act and the African Continental Free Trade Area, conferences such as this will help create a supportive community that will foster trade, knowledge sharing, collaboration, and business growth. In Lagos, for News Central, Adeshawa Odushoga.
To a business-related story, reactions have continued to trail the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari's scorecard presentation. During the presentation, the minister said an estimated 309 billion naira has been injected into the Nigerian economy through harvest in the last year as a way of ensuring food security by President Bola Tinubu's administration. News Central's Perpetua Fastomi Peter has more on this.
Nigeria's Minister of Agriculture, Abubakar Kyari, took his turn at the ministerial scorecard briefing, highlighting the achievements of his ministry in the past year. According to him, the ministry launched the dry season farming with cultivation of 118,657 hectares of wheat in 15 states and also released 42,000 metric tons of assorted food commodities from the federal government of Nigeria's Strategic Food Reserve, among other things. However, not many industry players seem to be excited about these.
Those grain reserves that has been released to the country, well, where are they? What impact do they have, on your table? What impact do they have on my table?
Although Adetiloye Ayola admitted that the Ministry of Agriculture has launched laudable initiatives in the review period, he asked that more attention be paid to these other challenges.
There is the issue of high cost of production, which we've obviously talked about. There's insecurity as well, or the feeling of insecurity for most producers. Then there is the challenge of post-harvest losses. Right? So if you grow 100 crops, 100 kg of something, and then you transport, and you're only able to deliver maybe 56%. That's a revenue loss that will be passed over to the consumer.
While giving an account of his stewardship, the minister complained that smallholder farmers in rural areas are not benefiting fully from government agricultural interventions. This is at par with the position of many analysts who believe that large-scale farming must be encouraged to achieve food security.
Mechanization will be able to drive productivity. We'll be able to free up some farm or rural labor to the next level, which is value addition. Large-scale farmers, we will definitely be able to not just only feed our country, our population, also develop our agro-industrial base, which is very critical.
Looking ahead, the ministry plans to recapitalize the Bank of Agriculture and Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation to improve credit access and to risk agricultural production. It also aims to introduce hydroponic and greenhouse farming in the next budget, targeting youth and women, especially in regions with heavy rainfall. While these are laudable, Many Nigerians just want access to affordable food. In Lagos, for News Central, Perpetua Fasami Peter.
Voting in South Africa continues as dissatisfaction with the ruling African National Congress threatens to end its 30-year political dominance. 27 million registered voters will elect a new parliament, which then chooses a president. For the first time since the advent of democracy in 1994, the ANC is at risk of losing its outright majority and could be forced to negotiate a coalition. News Central's correspondent Bongani Zinziba has the details in this report.
Early with queues starting to form as early as 5 a.m., South Africans ready to vote for who they want to represent them in the next 5 years. The voting has been smooth so far, according to the Independent Electoral Commission.
First of all, I'm here to set an example for my daughter that voting is important, especially to bring about the change that we envision for this country. I think for me, it's the education and the health infrastructure in this country that's more important to me. So we are voting for education and health.
For a free and fair election, that everybody gets a chance to vote and that things get fixed.
The voting has been smooth so far, according to the Independent Electoral Commission. Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan said he emulates the voting system in South Africa and urged other African countries to take note.
And of course, the Electoral Commission of South Africa is one of the best in Africa. They are very credible, are very competent. The current Electoral Commission has a former chairman of the commission as the commissioner, working under a new chairman. So you see how strong the institution is. And they have introduced a number of things that other African countries also need to. For example, they have online registration of voters, which most other countries have not started. Makes it easier for people to register as voters. They have diaspora voting, which is also quite good. Most other countries have not started diaspora voting. They have dedicated courts for elections.
As voting continues across South Africa, noted were government officials, opposition leaders and high-profile names. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa made a grand entrance while surrounded by media and supporters in Siawelo, where he cast his vote, while EFF Julius Malema cast his vote in his hometown in Polokwane. Former President Zuma was in Kandla, while Democratic Alliance leader John Steenhuisen cast his vote in KwaZulu-Natal.
So it's wonderful to arrive here and to meet so many people who are coming to vote. They're voting for the stabilization and the extension of our democracy, and that is a great day for the people of South Africa. This is the day when South Africa decides on the future of our country.
With more than 50 candidates on the ballot and independent candidates contesting for the first time, this election is shaping up to be a highly competitive one. Citizens say they are looking forward to a better South Africa as they exercise their democratic right. In Johannesburg, for News Central, Wangani Siziba.
Let's get more updates from South Africa with our correspondent, Avuyile Sawula. Avuyile, thank you very much for joining us. What's the latest in your area?
Thanks for having me once again. Well, the latest here in Cape Town, in the Western Cape, obviously I reported a couple of hours ago that I'm still at the Civic Center and I'm still here. And, you know, I can report again that the queues are still quite very much packed, even though the people inside, the IEC officials are helping out and trying to do their best to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to vote. But the queues are very quite long, I must mention, and people are waiting patiently to cast their votes.
There's been no breakdown of order anywhere in the course of this election so far.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Has there been any breakdown of order in the process so far, or people have been conducting themselves in very commendable ways?
Well, in the Western Cape particularly, you know, there's been, you know, swift, the voting process has been quite swift, to be quite honest. There's no reports of any fights in any voting stations, any scuffles or anything like that. There might be a couple of disagreements here and there, but the process has been quite smooth. I mean, in Kraaifontein, there was a scuffle between a DA member and the Patriotic Alliance leader, Gayton McKenzie, where, you know, the IEC officials, they were refusing to let Mr. McKenzie cast his vote, but eventually he casted his vote. And aside from that, elsewhere in the province, it's been quite smooth, and people are coming in their numbers in these late hours today to cast those votes.
All the prominent figures in the election, have they cast their ballot? Was there any difficulty in trying to do that you're aware of?
Well, as I've mentioned, the Gayton McKenzie issue at Kraaifontein, but he managed to cast his vote. Also reports coming in that in the Eastern Cape, in Tata, Bantu Holomisa, you know, he had struggles casting his vote there at Tata Hall, but you know, it's believed that he managed to cast his vote at Tata Hospital. So it looks like all the prominent political figures there that are on the ballot have managed to cast their vote.
All right, we will be staying with you subsequently for updates. Thank you, and remember to stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Leader of South Africa's radical leftist opposition, Economic Freedom Fighters EFF party, Julius Malema, has voted in the country's general election in the northeastern city of Polokwane. More than 27 million voters are registered for the most uncertain poll since the African National Congress, ANC, led the nation out of apartheid rule, with opposition challenges from both the left and right, unemployment and crime at near record levels, and a new generation growing up with no memory of the struggle against white minority rule. The ruling party may be forced to share power. 4 people are missing off eastern Tunisian coastal city of Mahdia, and 17 have been rescued while attempting to reach Europe by boat. It said a group, including 7 foreigners, referring to sub-Saharan African migrants, sailed on Monday from Cheba near Mahdia, but their makeshift boat capsized shortly afterwards. National Guard spokesman said 4 Tunisian migrants are still missing. On Monday, 153 Tunisian migrants, among them 3 women and a newborn baby, were rescued off the capital, Tunis. And on May 19, the National Guard said 23 people had been missing for 2 weeks off Nabil in the northeast. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan has lashed out at the United Nations, calling for action from the Islamic world following the recent deadly Israeli strikes in Gaza. President Erdogan delivered a scathing critique of the United Nations, accusing the organization of failing to uphold its principles in Gaza. He lamented the loss of lives recorded in Gaza and criticized the UN for its inability to protect even its staff in the region. Erdogan's remarks come in the wake of a UN Security Council meeting convened to address the Israeli attack on a displacement camp near Rafah, which claimed the lives of 21 people, according to officials. The Turkish leader condemned the attack and urged swift action to prevent further bloodshed.
Ey Amerikan devleti, bu kan senin eline de bulaşmıştır. Bu soykırımdan sen de en az İsrail kadar sorumlusun. Ey Avrupa'nın devlet ve hükümet başkanları, İsrail'in bu soykırımına, bu barbarlığına, bu vampirliğine siz de ortak oldunuz. Çünkü sustunuz. Hastane, okul, cami vurdular, sustunuz. Yardım konvoyu vurdular, sustunuz. 21. yüzyılda canlı yayınla tüm insanlığın izlediği bir soykırımı durduramayacaksan sen ne işe yararsın? Eğer dünyanın geleceği 5 ülkenin keyfine kaldıysa ne gerek var o devasa binalara? O kadar harcamaya, o kadar insanı çalıştırmaya. Bırakınız soykırımı durdurmayı. Birleşmiş Milletler kendi personelini, kendi yardım çalışanlarını dahi koruyamadı. Gazze'de sadece insanlık değil, Birleşmiş Milletler de ruhuyla birlikte ölmüştür. Buradan İslam dünyasına da bir çift sözüm var. Ortak bir karar almak için daha neyi bekliyorsunuz? Tepki göstermek için daha ne olmalı? Gazze sokaklarında şehit naaşlarını köpekler yiyor. İsrailli teröristler Müslümanların evlerine girip, mahremine girip yatak odalarından fotoğraf paylaşıyor.
We want a short break. News Central Now continues right after. Don't go away. Thank you for staying with us. Palestinian human rights and civil organizations have issued a joint plea to the United Nations and the Palestinian Authority, urging them to declare the Gaza Strip a famine-stricken area. During a press conference held on Wednesday, the organization painted a dire picture of the situation in Gaza, citing widespread environmental pollution, the spread of diseases, and a looming famine as major concerns. The groups further accused Israeli forces of attempting to cover up evidence of alleged crimes committed in the region. They called for urgent international intervention to address the humanitarian crisis unfolding in Gaza. The plea from Palestinian NGOs underscores the severity of the situation in Gaza and the urgent need for action to alleviate the suffering of its people.
نطالب الأمم المتحدة والسلطة الفلسطينية بالإعلان الفوري عن قطاع غزة كمنطقة منكوبة بالمجاعة والتلوث البيئي وانتشار الأمراض. يجب على الأمم المتحدة والسلطة الفلسطينية تبني هذا الإعلان.
المجاعة ليست موضوع فني، وإن أراد طرف أن يثبت أن ليس هناك مجاعة في غزة فليتفضل وليرسل طواقمه الميدانية ويحصل على المعلومات لتظهر ليس فقط حجم المجاعة أيضا التي تم إحداثها، حجم الجريمة بحق السكان في غزة. ما قامت به إسرائيل في غزة ليس فقط تجويع الناس.
Tensions escalate in Nicaragua as President Daniel Ortega accused his brother, Humberto Ortega, of treason. This accusation comes amid claims that Humberto Ortega, a former army chief currently under house arrest, as reported by exiled opponents, committed a grave national offense by awarding a U.S. military officer in 1992. Speaking in a televised address, President Ortega condemned the act, labeling it a betrayal of the state's integrity. He emphasized that bestowing such a significant medal upon a U.S. military officer constitutes an act of surrender and treason against the nation. President Ortega's accusations against his brother underscores the deep divisions within Nicaragua society and the political tensions that continue to simmer.
Esta inconcebible acción se califica como vergüenza nacional al entregar a un militar yanqui una medalla de tanta relevancia y trascendencia, y evidentemente constituye un acto de entreguismo y traición a la patria. El jefe del ejército ya tenía entregada su alma al diablo. Que invalidar esa entrega también borra la afrenta que se cometió contra un héroe y dirigente de la Revolución Popular Sandinista.
The Confederation of African Football has clarified that next year's Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations will still have 12 finalists in attendance, as against the minimum of 16 teams being projected by African football enthusiasts. This means that despite the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria defeating host nation Ghana in Tuesday's third-place match of the WAFU B Under-17 Championship, the Eaglets have still not qualified for the finals in Ivory Coast. This is according to CAF's Director of Competitions, Samson Adamu. There have been expectations that the 2025 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations would be expanded following FIFA's allocation at its Congress in Bangkok of 10 slots to the continent for the 2025 FIFA Under-17 World Cup that Qatar has been designated to host. Nigeria's side, Rivers Hoppers, face a crucial semi-final clash today in the Basketball Africa League against Al Ahly Libya. The game tips off at 4 p.m. Nigerian time at the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. The Rivers Hoppers, also known as Kingsmen, are going into today's game as favorites, having upset 2022 champions US Monastir in the quarterfinals. Both Al Ahly Libya and Rivers Hoppers will be looking to secure their place at the finals. The winner of this matchup will face either Cape Town Tigers or Petro de Luanda in the finals. Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owan Eno, will meet with presidents, secretaries, and technical directors of Olympic-bound sports federations as the ministry fine-tunes preparations towards Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The program collaboratively involves notable bodies such as the Nigerian Olympic Committee, Paralympic Federation of Nigeria, and the Ministerial Podium Performance Committee in order to foster synergy towards achieving Nigeria's objectives at this year's Summer Olympics. Senator Kano stated that the training program is one among the various strategies of the ministry to ensure Team Nigeria achieves success at the forthcoming Games in Paris, France. The game is exclusively focused on working with federations that have qualified to participate at the Olympic Games, as deliberations will be laser-focused on how to achieve Nigeria's objectives set forth for this year's Olympics. The program will take place on Thursday, May 30, at the Media Center of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. President Tinubu has signed bill returning old Anthem into law. Kano State Governor has banned public protest and ordered arrest of demonstrators. We also brought you news that South Africans vote in general elections. Would really like to hear from you. Please send your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen, or you can follow us on social media to do that. We are at News Central TV. You can watch live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you for watching.